Hi everyone, this is Aaron for Zollotech. We're going to take a look at the LIFEPROOF case for the iPhone 5. This is their free case, and even though it's not free, it's $79.99 or just under $80, depending on where you get it, and that's from their website at lifeproof.com. They kind of stress 4 different fundamentals with this case, and their previous case was great. Did some videos on that from before, and one of those things was a water test. It's waterproof, dirt-proof, snow-proof, and shock-proof. They actually test this from 6.5 feet up to 6.5 feet below water, and it's meant to withstand all of that. It comes with a 1-year warranty, and it's a pretty decent case. It's been asked about continuously through messages to me on YouTube and other places as well. If I'm going to get it, am I going to test it? What do I think of it? And here it finally has been sent to me from LIFEPROOF, so I appreciate that, and we'll take a look at it. Let's open this up. Now, it is a slimmer case as compared with before. We'll open it up this way, it looks like. Set the top aside. So here's the case itself. It's in pieces, and it gives you some instructions. We'll look at those in a moment. But here's the front of the case, the back of the case, and this is a headphone adapter, so you can use waterproof headphones. And in the back here, you can see their support and accessories that they offer. So the front of this case is plastic or touch-sensitive plastic. Works really well on the iPhone. You've got your spots for your speaker, your camera, your different sensors, your home button, and then on the bottom you have a sealed portion that actually seals where the headphone jack is. It's got a little rubber O-ring around it as well. And then there's a rubber gasket that goes around here that's on the other part. You can see here it's the green portion, and that snaps in here, and it's a rubber gasket that seals everything. On this part, you can see this is what touches the back of the phone. It actually has optical glass here to keep the camera clear, according to their website. And then on the back, this is all plastic. Now, one of the things they do tell you to do before you use the case is water test it. So we're going to do that first, and that's going to take some time. So I'll set that up, and we'll test it under the water. And what you do is you test this for an hour. You take it for an hour, put it under water, as long as it doesn't leak. So we'll seal it right now. Just snaps into place like this. And it's a pretty thin case too, compared to the older LIFEPROOF case. Here's the iPhone 5, and you can see right here, it doesn't really add a whole lot of thickness to it compared to maybe an OtterBox or some other cases that are similar to that. So what we'll do is we'll test this underwater. They actually tell you that in the instructions here. It shows here, I've looked at them online. You want to test them underwater for 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, we do a visual inspection of the case. If there's no water inside the case, it means it's safe to use. They actually water test these at the factory also. And if there's no water inside it, it's safe to use and you can use it regularly. So we're going to test this out. I'll set that up. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll see if it is as waterproof as the previous one and how it holds up after a few days. Here I have the LIFEPROOF case. I've got the sink filled with some water. It'll float, so we want to put one of these little coffee cups I have here on top of it, and we let it sit for about an hour. I'll check it in an hour and we'll see how it did. It's been an hour, so it's time to take the LIFEPROOF case out. We'll take the coffee cup off, and you can see the case floats. We'll take a look at this a little bit closer in a moment here. Now, you saw me pull the case from the sink. It sat there for 60 minutes or an hour. I set on my iPhone, the timer, and I only dried the outside of the case. I didn't open it up. You can see there's a couple of little marks there where it was still a little bit wet, but that's looking pretty good. No condensation on the inside. I don't see anything. Let's open it up and see what we've got inside. Now, you usually can use a quarter in these corners. I was able to pull this apart before when I was looking at the old cases with the iPhone 4. I don't know if we can do the same with this one. Yeah, there we go. Can pull it apart in the corner, and it looks pretty good. I don't see any water whatsoever inside, so that's a good sign. And we'll look at this in a moment too, but they also have this microfiber cloth. We're not really going to use that right now, so we'll set all of that aside. So you can see here's the case. I have my iPhone ready. I actually have a skin on the iPhone, so we'll see if that fits. If not, I'll remove the skin, but I like to keep it on there so when I take it out of the case. And you can see on the bottom, there's a piece here that actually sticks into the back or the bottom of the phone jack there for the headphones. And it's got a gasket on it like I mentioned before. Stick it in here like this, and it seems to fit just fine. It just sits in there nicely. Let's see how it fits around the rest of the phone. Actually, it looks like I've got a piece of plastic tape here or something. Take that off so it's not in the way. And put this on like this. We'll snap around the edges, around the bottom. Okay, it looks like it's sealed. Oh, I missed a corner there. So this is an opening to the lightning connector. Screw this in here. Snap that shut, screw in the headphone jack, seal, and that's that. Let's zoom in here a little bit and take a closer look. Now you can see my phone's inside of this. If I turn it on, you can see there's a couple smudges, and I don't know if that's because the screen's actually touching a screen protector or not. Let's turn it on though. Now one thing LIFEPROOF says that it does do is enhance the sound. It actually channels some of the sound through the back to give it maybe a little more bassy sound to it. I'm not sure that we really need to check that out, but phone calls seem to be pretty decent with these as well, at least in the previous version. So you can see the touchscreen's plenty responsive, no problems there. It's waterproof now. The back looks really nice. We have an optical lens for the camera. We have a lens for the flash. It's got an opening to show you the Apple logo. On the bottom, again, we have this little port for your lightning connector. So it's smaller than the last one because you don't need as much room. And then we have our port for our headphone. This side, we don't have anything. And on the front, again, we have the holes for our speakers and things like that. And then on the side, we have sealed buttons, volume up and down, and our vibrate switch, or anti-noise switch, or whatever you want to call it. Silent switch, I guess. So if we turn it on, you can see it works just fine. And everything's nice and sealed. So I guess the next test is let's see what this looks like, and then we'll see how it works in the water. Now, LIFEPROOF does offer headphones that will work with these as well that are waterproof. If we unscrew this here, this little seal, there isn't really a safe place to keep this, but they do include an extra one right here in case you lose it. So I guess you could keep it there if you lose the other one. We take the headphone jack, place it in here, and then we just screw it into place, and it acts as a headphone jack, and it's sealed. You can listen to music underwater in the pool and not worry about it falling in. It's completely sealed. Let me take this off. We'll go see how this handles underwater. Since we water tested it for an hour before the case was in, or before the phone was in the case rather, I thought we'd take a look and see how this holds up underwater, and hopefully it doesn't get wet at all. You can see here's the LIFEPROOF case. Let's toss it into the water, same sink as before. And there we have it. You can see it's still working just fine. It won't work as far as the touchscreen is concerned, but the volume buttons should work just fine. You can see I can click them up and down. Silent switch, same deal. I can turn it on and off. Can't unlock it until I bring it out of water, just because it's a capacitive touchscreen. Back in the water, you can see it won't work, but the phone itself is fine. It's underwater, and it's good up to 6.5 meters is what they guarantee it for, so shouldn't be a problem there. Let's see if we got any water in it whatsoever, but that's pretty extreme. Most people don't just swim with their phones, although you could. They guarantee that. As long as the seal's intact and you do the test beforehand, it shouldn't be a problem. So you've just seen the water test. The phone seems to have survived it within the LIFEPROOF case, no problem. You can see there is a little bit of a mark from me pushing the screen down onto the screen protector, but that I don't think would really show up if I didn't have that screen protector there. You don't need to have a screen protector on it, especially if you're going to keep your phone in this case full time. And let me pop it open quick just so we can see that there is no water, or hopefully there's no water on the phone itself. Pop that out there. So here's the case, looks great. It does have some impact protection on the sides, and actually it's pushed into the skin I have on the back a little bit with these ridges, but that's not really an issue. That just means it's in there securely. Let me pop the top off there and push this down, and the phone is intact, not wet whatsoever. I don't see any issues there. The case looks nice and intact and has a few rubber bumpers along the side that will keep it from damaging the phone should it hit the ground. LifeProof actually says that they guarantee it, or that it's been tested rather, to 6.5 feet from a drop. So that shouldn't be a problem if you drop it. Obviously, if you slam the screen into something hard enough, it could possibly shatter the screen, but that would probably take a pretty decent impact. You've got enough room on each side that this case will act as a bumper. As far as scratching goes, I don't think you're going to scratch this very easily, and the phone case really isn't too bulky compared to even the last version of LifeProof case or some other competitors' cases. They've really slimmed this down quite a bit, and it's nice to use. It's not going to add a whole lot of bulk. In fact, it's probably the same thickness as maybe an iPhone 4 or 4S, you can see here on the side. So it's not too big. It is a little bit taller just because they add some room for the speakers, but it's really a nice case overall. And I think most people that are looking for a case that's waterproof and is going to protect their phone from the elements really don't have to look much further than the LifeProof cases. If you have any questions or comments regarding the case, please place those in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.